Fake Christians lack the common sense of conscience. This is the part where I'm going to try to attempt to explain the difference between true right and wrong versus arbitrarily deciding what right and wrong are. Conscience is the knowledge of the difference between right and wrong behavior. Conscience is not the behavior itself. People think conscience is behavior. It is not. Conscience is knowledge of the difference between right and wrong behavior. The exercise of conscience is the behavior. That's when we actually take it into the realm of action, when we exercise the knowledge that we have taken into ourselves through our behaviors, through our actions. Conscience is not the desire or intention to do the right thing. This misconception causes many people to believe that they themselves or others have conscience when they do not. Ladies and gentlemen, most of the people of this world do not possess conscience. It doesn't matter whether they think they have it or whether you think they have it. Because conscience is knowledge. And how many people actually do have the definitive, objective knowledge of the difference between right behavior and wrong behavior? How many could actually articulate it to someone else? How many people can actually define what a right is? Again, I've made this social challenge, this social experiment challenge. Go and ask people on the street what is a right, and they will not be able to define it. They will not be able to tell you. A right is an action which does not cause harm to another sentient being. They will not be able to give you that simple definition of a right. And if you don't know rights, you don't have conscience. And if you don't know rights, you're going to lose them. You're certainly not going to be able to protect what you don't even know. And it's not going to be with you for very long, if at all. Someone can have all the desire or intent in the world to do the right thing, but if they do not have the knowledge to do so, they can never succeed in actually doing that task, doing what is right. Look, I could say, hey, I want to build race cars. I really have the intention and desire to build race cars. But if I don't go and actually learn the tool set to build race cars and then actually practice and do it and build race cars and learn how to really do it for real, I'm never going to build a race car. You want to learn how to paint. You don't say, I have the intention to learn how to paint. You actually get involved and do it. This is what people don't understand about real conscience. It's not about saying I have the intention to do the right thing. It's actually about doing the right thing. Intention is meaningless. Action is everything. Intention is meaningless. Behavior is everything. A constant theme throughout my work. Knowing moral law and living it is entirely different from merely wanting to do so. And because of this, most people don't know what it means to be a truly good person. They have this nebulous idea of what it means to be good. And most people say, oh, that person is generally good. Well, do they know the difference between right and wrong? Do they use their free will to choose right over wrong in every moment of their life? Well, then don't tell me they're a good person if they're not doing that. Don't tell me order followers are good people. Don't tell me cops and military are good people. Order followers, by definition, cannot be good people. Zero. None. 100% blanket statement, absolute. If you're an order follower, you're not a good person. To be a good person means you follow conscience, not orders. It means you know the difference between right and wrong, and then you exercise that behavior by choosing willfully of your own knowledge the right behavior over the wrong behavior once you understand the difference between those two modalities of behavior. Order followers don't do that. They act on what somebody else told them to do. And that is morally wrong all the time. So the only good order follower was one who has stopped being an order follower. They're no longer that thing. So there is no such thing as a good order follower. Developing true conscience means that a person integrates within themselves the definitive and objective knowledge of the difference between right behavior and wrong behavior, empowering them to truly do what is right by choosing right behavior over wrong. Sadly, most modern-day Christians have a severely distorted understanding of conscience, where it comes from, or how to exercise it properly. The word conscience is derived from the Latin consciere. Now, very interesting, okay? I recently actually learned this. I knew that it came from con and sciere, which means to know together. Con means together or with, and sciere means to know. But I didn't know until recently what the verb consciere in its full context actually meant. The Latin verb consciere means to know well, to know in fullness, to know definitely. So, if somebody, he knows that information, well, you wouldn't say consciere, you would say sciere. But whoa, he knows that. He's an absolute expert on that. He knows it deeply and in its fullness. Then you would say consciere, to know in its absolute fullness. In other words, to grok. How many people know Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land? How could I be bringing up all these great works of fiction and media and like 2 people know about it? Robert Heinlein, folks, Stranger in a Strange Land, one of the greatest science fiction stories about an anarchist that you will ever read. Please read it. Short novel. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, Michael Grox. Yeah, okay. So, consciere means to grok or to understand in its fullness. And that's what conscience is, folks. To know it definitely in its fullness, the difference between right and wrong. So that in turn comes from, as I said, con meaning together or with, and the Latin verb sciere meaning to know. Literally, conscience means to know together, to be all on the same common sense ground, all on the same page regarding what's right and wrong. In other words, to have common sense that is all too uncommon and lacking in our world. If everyone knew the essential knowledge of conscience, we could establish the common sense understanding of morality on earth, where everybody understands right and wrong. But this is humanity's main stumbling block. It doesn't know definitely the common sense knowledge of conscience. The worldwide system of violence, theft, and coercion that exists now is built upon that ignorance. Natural law is not difficult to grasp, quote-unquote, advanced spiritual teaching. Like I said in the morning session, folks, this is the remedial class. This is not the high-level spiritual stuff. This is the basic foundational building blocks of what you have to lay a foundation with to get to any higher levels of spirituality. This is the basic elementary foundation. People becoming aware of the knowledge of true conscience and aligning their actions with it is the only way to alleviate the self-inflicted suffering, self-inflicted sufferings human beings have created in the world. I wish that common sense was more common.